Hey everyone, welcome to Unicorn Dust Designs. Today we're jumping right into the DIYs and we are going to be using this piano roll. Yes, a piano roll. Bree from Upcycled by Bree made these famous, and I was able to get my hands on some. If you guys are interested, join the Whatnot app because I have been selling them on there. But today we're going to make it into some fall decor. So I'm going to roll this out enough where I could still see the original stamp, and I'm going to use the Charlotte stamp. And we are going to layer. So this is a great opportunity if you're not used to layering to learn how to do so. So we're going to grab Charlotte and we are going to put her, this is just a cutting mat. You could also buy a stamp mount as well. This is just like a cutting mat from Dollar Tree I cut up. I'm going to use black permanent ink. However, you could use colors as well. And I'm going to flip her on around on the bottom right side. We're going to kind of build an image around her. And I'm going to press that down. And you guys, oh my, just wait for it. When I lift this up, how much detail. Look at that. Isn't that stamp gorgeous? All right, so now we're going to lay a mask. You should have masks with all of your stamps. You're going to lay that on top of her. And now we're going to take this pumpkin stamp. Unfortunately, this is an old one, you guys, so it's not available. And I'm going to lay that over her neck. And you can see how with using that mask, it doesn't cut into her image. It looks like it's behind her, and that's what we want to go for. Now I'm going to put the mask on top of that other pumpkin because I'm going to layer a second one over here to the side. There we go. So now that it looks like it's like staggered. I'm going to grab the leaves from this same stamp and I'm going to have this cascading over her. So that's why I did not use the mask in this case. I want it to look like it's going like over and like on her neck. And then I am going to grab from, oh no, wait. Now I'm going to ink it up because there was like a little spot missing. I'm going to wipe back the leaf that I do not want ink on. I don't need this like big leaf over here. I just want this skinny little strand of leaves because you'll see the little bare spots here right in the middle. You can't miss it right there. And so I'm just going to stamp that. Now I'm going to take the garden bouquet stamp. You guys, I do have all of these in stock from the summer release on my website, links in the description box. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with the daisies in here. I used it on that last mirror I did with this stamp. I'm going to grab the stamp, and what's nice about the masks now is they printed the images on the mask, so you can really get an idea of what it's going to look like. I'm going to get that stamp. I'm going to ink it up, but of course, I'm going to use my mask. I end up needing to get the mask for her as well. And we are going to put that right in between her and the pumpkin. And you can see how using the mask builds. It looks like everything is behind her except the leaves. I'm going to grab the butterfly. This is also from the Charlotte stamp. And then I'm going to finish it off with some leaves over here on the bottom part. I didn't think it looked right bare. And because the leaves were so subtle, you were still able to see the original marking. I'm going to grab a thin popsicle stick and put that on the bottom so that it doesn't roll back up when hanging. And to hang it, I'm just getting some thin floral wire, wrapping it around the end of the tube, and then I'm going to bring it over and wrap it around the other end. And these you can roll back up to the way that you place the popsicle stick. You can definitely roll these back up. And like I said, these will be available on my next Whatnot show. So look at how good this image. And even if you didn't have a piano roll, you can be doing this on a piece of canvas, a piece of wood. It does not matter. I just wanted to show you the layering of it. And I am so feeling still the fall, like neutral decor. And this fit right in with that. The just like the brown. I absolutely love this, you guys. And who knows, stay tuned. Inspired by Western Grace home decor, and she made these beautiful like tile pumpkins, and I was all about it. So I'm taking random pieces of wood. I did measure that one for you. The Dollar Tree tiles. I have a huge stash of these, and now I see them at Dollar Tree all the time. I'm going to lay my piece of wood over the tile, kind of like smack dab in the middle, so I get a little bit of all the tile image in there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Now keep in mind that when cutting these, the sticky part is no longer going to be on there. It just falls right off. So I'm going to take that now and take some hot glue, and make sure you're putting the hot glue on all of the raised parts. Don't put it down in the sunken parts. You're just going to waste your hot glue. And then I'm going to lay that on. Caution, it is hot, so be careful. And I'm going to smooth that out. I found these little pegs in this like humongous box I picked up from Facebook Marketplace, and I'm like, these would be beautiful peduncles, so we're using them. I'm going to take my drill, and we are going to drill some holes. You guys, I know you're cringing. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, you're so sketchy when you're using that drill. And this fit in there perfectly. Now, while I have that out, I'm going to grab my 2x4 stack. So in her photo, she used 2x4s. I wanted to do it a couple like different ways. So I'm going to do it the way she did it, and then we're going to use that big piece of wood as well. So with the 2x4s, we are going to just cut the strips out. Again, I just did it exactly like I did with the big one. Just put them on top, trace them out, cut them out, okay? And then we are going to hot glue them on. I don't know if these would work with like regular glue, you know what I'm saying? Like if you guys use glue sticks or something, I'm not sure. I would use hot glue. Now I'm going to use Titebond Quick and Thick and a little bit of hot glue. The hot glue just gives me that immediate hold, so I could kind of just keep working through. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to clamp that, set that aside, and then we're going to move on to painting. So I'm going to take vintage linen here. Vintage linen is my favorite white from the DIY collection. It's not like pure white, and it doesn't really have any kind of like gray or blue undertones. It is just like the most perfect white. I'm going to do a messy coat over the entire surface, and I also do the back because this is a shelf sitter. And then I'm going to take vintage linen and mix it with a little bit of salt wash. Not a lot like I usually do where it's like super chunky, just a little bit. And I'm going to stipple that on. I wanted the tile to look like it had layers of paint on it, you know, like if it would have come out of an old building. That was the look I was going for here. So I'm going to stipple that on. I even go over on top and the sides. And then I'm going to take liquid patina in Pennies from Heaven. Now, you guys, this is where you just have to have fun and experiment. This definitely did not come out looking like their pumpkins, but I was just having fun with it. So I'm just putting this in random spots. And then I'm going to I took this stamp pad. It was brown, but it was like square and it was leaving lines. It just did not work. When you do it with the IOD stamp pads, like the bigger ones, this works so much better on the tiles, but this was not happening. So next thing we're going to experiment with, I took liquid patina, dark and decrepit. I put it on there, and then I wet it, and I see how I'm wetting it, and then I'm spreading it. Wet it, spread it. Geez, that does, okay. And moving on. And then we are going to pat that down with a paper towel. And then you can kind of just see it just like creates like these layers and makes it look like super grungy. This one, you guys, I painted in faded burlap and used some salt wash as well. And then I am clearing it with DIY's clear wax and dark wax. The reason we put on that that clear wax is so that we can easily wipe back the dark. If I were to just put the dark onto the paint, then it would just kind of cling to the paint and you wouldn't be able to wipe it back as much as you can with the clear. So Once all the paint is done, I'm going to take all of these strips of fabric and I'm going to twist it on around and then cinch it in the middle. That's it. That's all you do for a messy fabric bow. They are so pretty. I'm going to tie it off with another piece of fabric and then we are going to hot glue it to the bottom of our peduncle. I learned peduncle from you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys educate me all the time. And then, of course, we can't stop there. I got these little buttons and I layered them on top of each other, and that's going to go in the middle of our bow. Y'all, I hope you like this. I know this was kind of like a quicker video than you're used to, but I enjoyed it. Make sure to check out Western Grace Home Decor on Facebook. And look at how good those look. Can you see the texture of the salt wash as well? Loving it. I think next week, you guys, we're going to do like a moody fall decor because I have this image in my mind of using the arched wood blanks. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, you guys. I appreciate you being here with me. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday with a thrift haul to show you guys. So have a good one. My linens kind of cabinet. And I am somebody who always buys the like seasonal, pillowcases. You know what I'm talking about? Like these, where it's like lemons on one side and then you have absolutely nothing on the other side. You guys, I have just too much stuff, So these are actually still pretty nice. Might lint roll that and reuse that baby this year. I think all of these. Look at that. Yeah, these are, did I already cut that one? No, I don't think so. Okay, so I save mine every single year. There's pink ones, there's Christmas ones, and usually if they're like pretty damaged, because I have kids and most of these end up on the floor and have like juice stains on them and stuff, then I will take the back and I will reuse them. Now, you don't have to have these pillowcases. You guys could have floral pillowcases, striped pillowcases, whatever old pillowcases you have, and create these DIYs. I think actually the more pattern, the better. But this is what I have. So this is what I'm going to show you how to DIY with today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off by getting our pillowcases and lint rolling them. I wash all of them, but y'all know dogs, Hank's hair's all up in these, I'm sure. So we're going to lint roll them. Then I'm going to fold this in half. I'm going to draw I'm going to call it a rounded edged triangle. And we are going to go ahead and cut that out. Now keep in mind, when you are doing something like this, even if you're sewing or gluing, you want to make sure that you keep some kind of seam allowance. And what I mean by that is wherever we're going to glue, that's going to take up space on your fabric. So it's going to make it a little smaller than you think. So since I'm cutting inside the marker, I need to make sure that I'm making it big enough. So I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down there. So we're going to cut 3 more. I did like a big, medium, and small in these sizes. And I could have taken out my sewing machine, but I wanted to keep this very simple for the people that don't have one or don't know how to use one. So after we're done, I'm going to go ahead and just take my hot glue gun, and you'll see as I go around the edges, I'm not going like all the way to the edge. I'm keeping a little bit of space. That way it almost looks like it's more sewn. And then we need to make sure that we keep a hole in our fabric. This is where we're going to be able to stuff our filling. So again, taking that, not going all the way to the edge of the fabric. This is where I'm talking about your seam allowance. That's going to make our fabric a little bit smaller when you stuff it. Now I'm going to take this little pokey thing I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to fray the edges just a bit. Not a lot, just a little bit, And then I'm going to get my paint out. So I'm going to use Liquid Sunshine and Fire Starter. These are like your true, authentic yellow and orange that you would normally see. And I am going to paint all of the bottoms, just eyeballing how far I want to come up. Now, I've seen people spritz water on this to like move the paint, but I don't know why I was having like a fear of water, moisture, and then the filling in there. So I didn't do it, and the paint moved just fine for me. After we're done doing that, we're going to grab fire starter and we're going to put that in the middle. So you obviously can see we're making candy corns. And I was inspired by Antique Farmhouse to make these because I'm doing a dupe sell of Antique Farmhouse on my whatnot. Saw these, knew I had to make them. So I just flipped them on over, eyeball where that color stopped and began. Well, we know where it began. And then I'm just painting it on the other side. Make sure you merge that yellow and that orange, or I guess you really don't have to. It would kind of look cute if it was like yellow, a block of the fabric, and then orange, block of fabric. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to paint the top. You can tell I'm recording this on a weekend because the kids are out of control. Everybody's crying. I'm going to grab my brown ink. This I actually found at a garage sale score with like a bunch of other colors as well. And I'm just going to distress those up just a little bit. It's not a lot, but you do you. Now I'm going to take the Pretty in Plaid stamp. I'm going to use 3 out of the 4 that come in the stamp, and I do have these available on my website. I'm going to tape off the top and the bottom. That way I just have some security that like my ink or the stamp doesn't go onto the other colors. And we are going to go ahead and start stamping. So I don't know why I don't use these more often. This is definitely one that I had used it and then it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. But the Antique Farmhouse ones had this like pattern on them, and right away I thought of these stamps. So make sure when you are stamping on fabric that you put a little bit more ink on there and you use a lot more pressure in the application. This is where a brayer would come in handy, but it wasn't near me and I was being lazy. So we're just going to use the hand. This ended up being my favorite one stamp wise on how it looked. Now I'm taking the filling. I told you, I think in the last video or so, that I just get a pillow, one of like the $5 pillows from Walmart. Who knows? They're probably way more than that now. And I just use the filling out of those. It's really easy and it's inexpensive. And you want to make sure that you pack those pretty good. You don't want to like squeeze it and fill like the other side. You want it to be nice and cushioned in there. And then again, referencing how I said that seam allowance, do you see how when we glue, it takes out some of the edge and makes your piece just a tad bit smaller? So make sure you keep those holes big enough for you to put in your filling. After we're done with that, we're going to accessorize. So I'm taking this cheesecloth. I got this from Walmart, stained it with some coffee, and we're just going to tie that around. We're going to pull apart those little ends right there. And then I'm going to take the scrap fabric that we had cut off from the pillowcases, and we're going to create some tags with those. So after I'm done wrapping this one, we are going to go ahead and grab that, and I'm just kind of cutting rounded edged triangles, boxes. I think it's more a triangle than it is a square. I said boxes instead of square. Whee! And then we're going to fray those as well. I'm going to grab the Apothecary stamp set, and I'm going to, since I have 3 different sizes, I'm going to do it as like a little bundle and put trick or treat on there. And this turns out so cute, you guys. If you don't have the Apothecary stamp set in your stash, you need it. Like, I love having the option of doing these like little small items, doing quotes on things. This is definitely a stamp you want in your stash. And I do have some available on the website. All right, so once I get those stamped, I'm going to hot glue just the corner to the little knot of the cheesecloth. And then I'm going to add a little button to almost look like the button is what's holding the tag. And this is where I always say, have fun with it. Do it how you would like, accessorize it. I've seen these done with like little safety pins. You could add some little, fall floral pick in there. And this is how they turned out. For these being a pillowcase, you guys, I think these turned out pretty dang cute. And if you join my show on Whatnot, you'll see the dupe version of this on Antique Farmhouse. And I have to say, I like mine better. So I hope you guys enjoyed these, and I hope you have fun creating some yourself. Video using these beautiful prints, you guys. I get these from Angel, and she has an Etsy shop, the Whimsy Curio. She's actually here on YouTube, and she designs these beautiful printable images. And she not only has seasonal ones, she has everyday ones that you can purchase too. I've probably already added 15 to the cart because she is giving us a 20% off coupon to use on her Etsy page. I'm going to drop the link for her Etsy and that coupon code in the description box for you guys. Take advantage of it. 20% off is a good amount, and I cannot wait to show you what I do with these. So I am taking frames, and for any of you that have been with me for a while, frames are my number one thing I love to flip. I think they are so beautiful. There's so many different ways you can like play around with them. So I'm going to show you how I turn these into like super upscale frames with these upscale prints. So the first one, after deciding what picture is going to go where, I'm going to take this resin mold. This comes from the Conservatory label mold, which I do have in stock. I am using JB Weld. It stinks, y'all, but at least I know this is like never coming off this frame if it drops. So I'm going to stick that on. I'm going to set it to the side and let that cure. I am going to take, and I wanted to show you guys real quick. We are going to use black velvet, but I wanted to show you the difference. Little black dress is in my right hand. Black velvet's in the left. You could see how black velvet had more of a charcoal feel versus like a true black fill. I'm going to take my chippy brush, and we are going to use the black velvet. And we're going to do one coat. I like using chippy brushes when doing a detailed piece like this because I feel like all of those little bristles in a chippy brush really can get down into those nooks and crannies. Once I'm done with that one, I'm going to move on to the second frame, and we're going to do the same exact colors. So the bases of both of our frames are going to be the same, but we're going to do different techniques on the two of them. So I'm going to set that one to the side. That one only needed one coat as well. And now with this one, I'm going to use Sandy Blonde and this little like pouncing sponge. While the paint is still wet, I am dabbing that on to my frame. I want this to look almost kind of like the frame is like decaying from the bottom and like working its way up. I wanted it to look, I don't know, yeah, I guess like it's decaying, like it's like getting old. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to work up the side of the frame, which I'll show you here in just a second. And just having that paint be wet, the black velvet, this just allows you to get like a softer color where it doesn't look so harsh, like you just like stuck that color on top. I'm also going to do the mold as well. After I'm done with that, I'm going to take, oh, I wanted to show you guys this, you guys. My friend Kendra got me this like silicone mat, and it is the best thing ever. It easily wipes off anything. I mean, the DIY paints are clay-based, so they wipe off with water anyways, but either way, this thing is amazing. I've bought several other ones since she sent me this for when doing like my resin or doing things on top of like my nice shipping table. And I do have this in my Amazon store link, so check it out because they aren't expensive and they're huge. Okay, I'm going to take my stamp mount and I'm going to actually cut one of them down. These are less than $3. And I've been wanting to do this for a while because we work with smaller stamps sometimes, and it's hard to use that big old thing for these smaller stamps. So I'm going to use that one and kind of cut it down to different sizes. I'm going to take the Apothecary stamp. I do have, I think, like 4 of these in stock right now. And you guys, anything that's out of stock, I am going to wait until I order the Christmas release from IOD. I do not know when that is going to be released. I'm sorry, you guys, but I'm going to wait till then. That way I don't have to pay shipping twice. So just bear with me. It will all get restocked at the same time that I purchase Christmas stuff. So I tried to spell out Binks for the cat's name. I wanted to put it in the middle of this label. I put metallic gold paint on the stamp. However, It did not work out at all. It was too spaced out. I think if I would have done the stamps one at a time, it would have fit on there, but it did not work for me, and I couldn't wipe it off because it was not the clay-based paint. So I decided I'm just going to paint the entire middle of this, that gold metallic color, and it actually doesn't look bad. So it almost looks like a jewel or something, you know? Now I'm going to take a small detailed brush, and I'm going to take that same gold metallic paint. You could also use your gold wax, whatever you have. And I am going to brush that on the top of all of the details in this frame, going all the way around. And my tip for you when doing something like this, so you don't get it on the rest of the frame, is dipping your brush into that paint and then dabbing the excess of it off on a paper towel, kind of like dry brushing. That way you're not oversaturating the area, and you're going to be less likely to touch, other parts of the frame with it. So I'm going to finish this. I also put it dusted on the mold as well. And then we're going to move on to this frame. I'm going to use Summer Crush. You guys, I'm out of this color. I'm so sorry. I will get it back in soon. And I am dipping it into the paint. And then I literally, guys, when I say that I wipe most of it off, I really do wipe most of it off. It's dry brushing. And then you just brush whatever remnant is on that paintbrush onto the frame. And this looks so cool. It seriously looks like it's starting to rust, almost like it was like a tin or metal frame or something. This color is amazing for this look. Oh, you guys, when you see the photos popped in, okay. So I'm going to pop this in, and I didn't show you guys, but I did clear these both with clear wax by DIY, and look at how gorga this is. Not only is the image epic and I love it, but the paint on here is everything. I am loving it. Like I said, it almost looks like it's starting to rust. It ties in with this beautiful photo. And then our kitty cat over here. Oh my word, you guys. I have been selling my DIYs on my Whatnot lately, but I decorate for Halloween in my bookshelves, and I don't know if I'm going to be willing to give up these picture frames because I just love them so much, and they're going to look so good with brass. Oh my gosh. Tell me what you guys think about these. Hi. All right. Next neutral DIYs are going to be ghosts. Now, if you guys are my OGs, do you guys remember these split balls? Do you remember these big old balls? Okay. So I was trying to dupe a DIY, you guys, like in the start of my YouTube career, and the lady used split wood beads. Well, I ordered these, and I guess I did not look at the size. They were ginormous. Needless to say, the DIY came out very unproportioned, but I've held on to them, and I didn't have any styrofoam balls. So this is what I used instead. So I got these wood discs from the thrift store. I'm using those spindles once again, which I will note that I'll tell you later after. I'll give you some hints on things I would change. But we are going to use this clamp. You guys, I saw somebody, it was on the road trip thrift flip, and I apologize, but I cannot remember her channel for the life of me. I even went back and looked, but she drilled holes in the top of vintage clothespins, and this is how she did it. She clamped it in there and then got her drill. So things are about to get sketchy. You might want to look away because I went for it. I got the drill. I clamped these wood balls that I hot glued together, and needless, you could see Hot Mess Express, but I made it work. You see, it kind of went better that time. I got the hang of it. Okay, so sometimes you just got to use what you have in your stash, and I didn't have styrofoam balls, so this was the next best thing. So it fit in there. I did have to kind of rig it here. I just hot glued this spindle into my drill hole, and then I hot glued them together. This is like a Franken ghost. Yeah, awesome. And then I hot glued around just to ensure that those two pieces would not separate from each other. All right, then I did my other ones, and you'll see that the other ones went way more smoothly. Okay, that one was not a hot mess. I did not have to glue it back together, and the spindle fits in perfectly. I'm going to take those bases that I got from the thrift store. I'm going to also drill a hole in those in order for the spindle to fit. And I left one of them with like just like the raw woods, and then one of them I painted black. However, I am going to say I painted the top of it white just because it shows through the fabric. But I will say I would not, because I am going to make more. I'm not going to use the spindles again because you don't even see them. So I kind of wasted the spindles. Um, I'm just going to use a dowel rod next time. And then for the bases, you guys just go to the wood pile section at Hobby Lobby and get the round discs. I actually went this weekend to get styrofoam balls and the wood disc because I want to make more for my whatnot show. So that's what I would use next time. I was just kind of using what I had, and I don't know where I thought that you were going to actually see the spindle, but you don't. So don't waste your spindles, okay? Unless your ghost is gonna have a short dress. Now I'm taking this fabric. It's like a polyester fabric that I get from Walmart. It's really inexpensive. And I'm taking this tablecloth. I'm gonna drape it over to get the size and the length that I want. And then I'm just going to do a messy cut around this. So this is going to be all you, all preference. You do not have to have a tablecloth. It can be a colorful ghost, whatever. But you'll see, I just start like chomping at the bit here and just start cutting. But as I'm making this, you guys, I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks like a beautiful wedding dress. And you guys heard me earlier. I'm extra. If you're new to my show, hello, my name is Sammy, and I am super, super extra sometimes. And this is one of those times. So I start cutting this, and I'm like, I'm not cutting it anymore. I'm leaving this long like a wedding dress, and this is going to be the Princess Bride ghost. So I lay it out. I cut out the stains that are on the tablecloth. There was another one right over here. And then I am going to take I'm going to like, goodness, I'm going, sorry, I'm going to pull back that, we'll call it her veil. And I'm going to just take a permanent marker and we're going to draw in those ghost eyes. You don't even have to. I've seen some inspiration photos where they don't even put the eyes, but I feel like the eyes are kind of necessary. What do you guys think? Eyes or no eyes when it comes to the ghost? So I'm going to put that back over. I'm going to grab another strip of fabric and I am going to tie that at the base of the little head. I'm going to double knot that. Then taking this little piece of chiffon, I'm going to put that around the neck and tie it in a bow, just very delicate. And because I have to keep going, my friends, I decide to, or wait, no, hold on, special announcement. Hey everybody, I am stopping in real quick. I wanted to do a gift away. It has been quite some time. You have to be 18 and over to enter. You have to be a US resident and you need to make sure that you're subscribed and you leave your girl a comment. I will pick a gift away winner. What's today? Saturday. So let's say Tuesday, and I will announce it in my community tab. So make sure you are following there. I'm going to gift away a little ghost kit. So I am going to send you the ribbons, the cheesecloth with some of the fabric, and then I will send you the form. You need to glue it together yourself, but like everything is going to be here for you to create your own little bride ghost. Okay, so again, 18 and over, US resident. Make sure you are subscribed and you comment down below. I will also ask you to send me your identification card to make sure it is you that is claiming the prize. And let's go ahead and carry on. Back to my my extraness. I decided that I needed rhinestones on the front of this. You guys, I got all into this Princess Bride ghost, okay? And sorry, it's not a good shot. It was like a last minute decision. So I got these like amber like rhinestones and then the crystal clear rhinestones. And I just put it in the front of her gown. And She's Gorga. I love her so much. Now, the second ghost we did, I took an old handkerchief and then I took the cheesecloth. I got the cheesecloth at Walmart and then I stained it in coffee. And all I did was I made a pot of coffee, put it in a bowl with the cheesecloth, took it out, rinsed it out after about an hour, and it was a beautiful color. So I am putting that over my ghost form, tying it off with a piece of scrap, and then I'm going to make a fabric bow. And this one's more kind of like traditional, like I have the orange and the black in there. And I'm going to just glue that to the base of the head, and I did draw eyes on there, and these turned out so cute. I was trying to save these until this upcoming week's What Not Sell, but they were in the background on my show this past week or this week, and they both sold. Debbie bought one of them, so thank you, Debbie bought the Princess Bride, and more bought the other one. But I am totally making more. One, these were so fun to make. I was able to use all of these like vintage linens that I had, and you can really get creative with them, you guys. So again, I would use dowels next time, styrofoam balls, and then you could get the wood bases at Hobby Lobby if you can't find items at the thrift store. Oh, so cans. Yes, baby formula cans. We have a lot of them, so we might as well put them to use. You can also use coffee cans. So I'm going to measure my cans first. I'm going to go around. This way I can just lay down my measurements onto my decoupage paper instead of trying to kind of like wrap it around, figure it out. Like this just makes the process so much easier. So I laid it down, did the length. Now I'm doing the height, and you'll see I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to go all the way across and mark it a couple times. That way, when I use my scissors to cut across, I will have a nice straight line to work with. I'm going to do the same exact thing for our small cans as well. And I also make sure that I'm using the straight edges of my decoupage paper. That way I have a straight edge to place on the bottom of my can so that my decoupage paper doesn't go in a wonky direction. So I'm taking my liquid patina. I put a small amount on to start it off, and then I'm going to place my decoupage paper on top. I am going to continue to do this all the way around, doing very small sections. So I'm going to take that liquid patina. I'm going to do about like maybe like an inch or two, and then I'm going to kind of pull on that decoupage paper to make sure it's nice and tight. Get my plastic wrap, and I'm going to smooth that on out. For these projects, I am using the galvanized metal decoupage paper, and I am also going to be using the neutral ticking stripe paper, all which I do have in stock. So we're going to continue to bring this all the way around, and you guys, having that straight edge on one side, it is so extremely helpful for your paper not to start kind of like going in a different direction as you're going around your can. So after I'm done with that one, I'm going to just show you how good this paper looks. Ooh, and measuring it. Look at there was only like a little bit of an overlap that happened. It was the perfect size paper. Now, for the neutral ticking stripe paper, I did have to paint my cans with crinoline, and this is because the dates on these cans were showing through. You could see on the galvanized metal one, I didn't need to paint them. So this one, I did need to paint. So dependent upon the decoupage paper you use, you might have to paint your surface first. Now I'm going to use the neutral ticking stripe paper. This looks so good. You guys, these come out so stinking cute. So here they are finished. Voila, look at how good those look. I cut these faces off of, I cut them off of something. I used my Cricut to create these. You can also use, you can print faces off with your basic everyday printer and decoupage them on as well, or you can draw them on with black paint marker or a black Sharpie as well. So if you don't have a vinyl cutting machine, you can still do these projects as well. So I'm going to go ahead and push those on down, and then we are going to our stems, and these are from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use JB Weld on these just so I have better chance of the stems not popping off. If y'all have crafted for any amount of time, you know that if you use hot glue on metal, it just usually, like, you could peel it right off, and I don't want that to happen because I am selling these, or I did sell them. So I'm applying a generous amount of the JB Weld, and I'm going to put those on the stems of our pumpkin, and then I'm going to apply them to the top. You can also use spindles as well. There's so many options for stems, but I did have a surplus of these from my Dollar Tree stash. So we're going to use these. You can even grab sticks from outside. Those work too. Now we're going to top it off with some Spanish moss. Give me ideas, you guys, on what else you would put on the top of the pumpkins. I feel like Spanish moss is commonly used, and I don't know what else I would use. So drop down in the comments some ideas you would have done for this top part. For me, I'm using Spanish moss to cover up the top of this pumpkin. I put on a little too much in the beginning and it looked like it had like a crazy hairdo. So I thinned that out. I'm just hot gluing and pressing this on, just making it look very like carefree and whimsical. And I'm going to do that for all of our pumpkins here. And of course we have to accessorize. So I am going to take some of these leaves I got off of some flower, and then I'm going to hot glue them to the side of our stem. Now, you guys, at first I put these leaves on with the little plastic part on the bottom of them, and it made the leaves want to like open up where you could see that ugly plastic part on it. So I ended up taking them off, and they worked so much better. So you could see right here, see how you could see like inside the leaves, and I didn't want to stick anything in there because that would have looked weird. So I ended up just taking them off and plucking them off, and this is how they turned out. I kept the top of them very simple, and this galvanized metal, you guys, look at how good this decoupage paper looks. Like, it's to the T. Like the farmhouses like over here, like that is what galvanized metal looks like. And so very farmhouse. I love them. I think they turned out good, and it was a great way of using all of those farm things like this with that fabric. And this would not be a fall Halloween video without a pumpkin. So I am folding this up, and I'm going to cut out a rectangular shape. I think I saw this somewhere on Pinterest. I'm not sure, you guys. My mom brain is fried. And we're again going to do the hot glue, making sure not to go right on the edge. And then I'm going to go back to the Pretty in Plaid stamp. I really liked this pattern, so that's what I chose to do. If you guys had ticking stripe fabric, oh my gosh, these would be gorgeous. I'm going to take this tarnished old spoon. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in our pumpkin. I'm going to glue that top on. And you guys, when you're doing pumpkins, literally the choices are endless. One, for what a pumpkin could be, and two, what a stem could be. So many possibilities. And then we're going to glue our fabric bow on to our pumpkin. I've shown how to make that quite a bit lately, so I won't do that again. But I hope you guys enjoyed this movie. No. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show video, and I hope that it inspired you to get out that fabric and start creating. Please leave me a comment down in the description box if you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. All right, this next one is inspired by 34 Decor. I shouldn't say inspired because I literally did exactly what she did. Usually I kind of make it my own and put a twist on it, but not this time. I'm going to leave her link down in the description box for you guys. I am using random cuts of wood. Like random, you guys, I did not measure these. They were just sitting on the workbench. So I am going to keep with using black velvet for these. And I'm going to paint the front, the back, and the sides. These are going to be considered shelf sitters. So you want to make sure that you are painting the backs of them as well, because they will show. I'm going to grab the ephemeral, you guys, did you hear me? I got it, stamp from IOD. And I am going to be using the white mixing ink from IOD. So you guys, if you grab that if you order anything, make sure to grab the 3-pack of the empty ink bottles. This way you can start mixing your own colors. I tell you, it is so much fun, and I have all the colors, like red, there's green, there's like a bright blue, a dark blue, gray, yeah. So anyways, I stamp it, I ink it up with the white mixing ink, and then I'm going to press it down with my hand as I'm holding it with one hand. And then we're going to lift off. Lift off. There we go. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. This is going to be like most used stamp besides my texture stamp for sure. So again, I'm going to do the same thing on the second piece of wood. I don't know if she used white paint or the white ink. White paint will give you a brighter finish. So we're going to go into the Gilded transfer, you guys. And the more I looked at her inspiration, she only used like bits and pieces. I ended up using a whole sheet on it, but you know, it's all right. This is how I made it my own. And to be completely honest, these are like using regular transfers, in my opinion. I do the same steps that I usually do, where I am pulling up on the sheet as I'm pressing down with the little plastic stick they come with. And you can even use, once you're done with this, the sheet, you know, the carrier sheet, you can use that again, which is really cool. So you're kind of getting like double the value out of this booklet here. So I'm going to continue to do that all the way down, and I'm going to show you as I'm pilling it up, you guys, how gorgeous this gold is. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I kind of rub it down. You can't really like burnish it because obviously you don't have that carrier sheet anymore, but I'm going to put that carrier sheet back on here so I can use that for something else. I've seen people using these on amber bottles, so now I'm on the hunt, you guys. I am on the hunt. I'm going to use the pumpkin from the Hello Pumpkin mold. Unfortunately, it is a retired mold. I do sell the resin pieces of the pumpkins on my website. I'm going to dip into Summer Crush once again. And basically, I'm going to paint the entire pumpkin, even the leaves, because the leaves were so detailed. I was having a hard time staying in my lines. So I painted everything. Then as that one is drying, I'm going to take one of these sunflower molds, and I painted it with Queen Bee, and then I'm going to paint the middle with chocolate, layered chocolate. And after that one dries, we are going to go back into, I think, the pumpkin. Hold on. What's coming next, you guys? I don't know. Oh, then I take what was left on my brush and I start kind of outlining the petals on this sunflower. So instead of using wax or something like that, I was just trying something different and new, and I really like how it turned out. All right, for the leaves on the pumpkin, I am going to use Fancy Farm Girl. And it turned out so pretty. I love this green. I'm also going to use this green on the stem I'm going to use for the sunflower, which I'm going to have to make out of clay because I wanted to be able to set the sunflower on there. So you'll see right here, I have the clay piece for the stem. I put Type Bond Quick and Thick on there. And I'm going to lay that down on my wood sign, maybe any day now. After I drop it, of course. There we go. And I wanted to use the clay versus the resin stem, so that way I could get that sunflower and I could kind of like push it in to the clay so it didn't look disconnected. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Because if I would have just kind of butted up the resin stem, it just wouldn't have looked like a connected piece. You would have seen that separation. And then there's this guy. You guys, he has an entire house he could lay in, and he chooses to lay under the desk. I am pretty tall. Like, there isn't a lot of room, but you know what? He was soft and cozy, so I just decided he would warm my feet. So taking the Type Bond again, we're going to attach the pumpkin to the bottom left. I kind of, for this one, I was like, I'm digging all of this gilded look. So I'm going to put this pumpkin to the left. Our Inspiration 34 Decor, she uses all different sizes. She cuts like houses. She double stacks them. So definitely check out hers. And then I'm going to take liquid patina. So for those of you that are new, liquid patina is a decoupage medium, but it is also a clear coat. And liquid patina is going to give you a matte finish versus Big Top, which is going to give you just a little bit of a sheen. I prefer the matte look, so that's why I have been using liquid patina a lot. It does not take away from that gilded transfer whatsoever, which you will see in the reveal photo. I decided to put dark wax on my pumpkin because I felt like the details of the pumpkin weren't really coming out. And so I thought, you know what, we'll add the dark wax. That way, see how it just sets in all of the creases in there, and it just makes it look way more defined. So here is how they turned out. Aren't they gorgeous? You could see how that liquid patina did not dull down that gilded transfer whatsoever. I absolutely love these. Make sure to check out 34 Decor's link down in my description box for more fall inspiration. And these I will be selling on my Whatnot show this coming Thursday. I will not keep these because I do have a lot of scrapwood and I can make a lot more of these. And I was inspired by Country Charm by Tracy. I had one of her mega videos playing in the background. And she made these pumpkins, but I think she was using like a burlap. I didn't have that, so I used an old pillowcase. I keep all of my like pillowcases that I change out during the seasons. So what I did with this, I did a hot dog fold and a hamburger fold. And then at the seam of this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw, it's going to look like a tunnel. You're going to draw a little baby tunnel. I'm going to use my fabric scissors and I am going to go ahead and cut those out. And then once we are done cutting them out, we are going to hot glue them together. So you'll see what I'm talking about right here where I did it kind of like at the seam. You guys, I frayed this one and then I totally forgot I did it and didn't do it to the rest of them, but it's okay. It wasn't like a drastic difference. So, okay, so here we go. Okay, I lied. We're not doing that yet. So we are going to take layered chocolate mixed with some water and we're going to go around our pumpkin and then form or draw or paint the middle. I also tried the dark wax doing this as well and it worked, but this is what Tracy did, so that's what I did. Okay, now we're gonna hot glue that, making sure to leave a hole at the top. See how like my seam right there was still connected, so I didn't have to worry about gluing that? That's what I was talking about. Picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. So we got the hole left on the top. We're not flipping these inside or out. We want them to look like rustic. So if you have like jagged cut lines, if you fray it out, that's what we're going for. I tried doing this speckling thing like Tracy did, but it didn't really work for me. It was probably the material. Now I'm taking this filler, stuffing my pumpkin. I just buy a pillow from Walmart for my filler, and we're going to fill this up. I'm going to take a spindle and we're going to place the hot glue around the inside of our pumpkin hole and then place the spindle in there and close it on up. Now, as I continue to put my tops in, what am I doing right here? Oh, I tried tying my ribbon around like Tracy did, but it wasn't vibing for me. So I ended up making a fabric bow instead and then hot glued that to the front of this pumpkin. And it was so stinking cute. These are good for bowl fillers, you guys, if you have a booth or you do craft fairs or just to prop up in your bookshelves. So for the other pumpkins, I have a bunch of these random pieces. I bought a box of like wood dollhouse stuff from somebody and it had a bunch of these pegs and like tiny little spindles in it. So I am just going to coat these with some dark wax to give them some color. And as I started doing more, it looked a lot better when I put the hot glue in there, the spindle, and then pinched it together. It just looked better and a little bit tighter, I guess, like around the top instead of like flat like that other one did. So I just thought I would share that with you. So we are going to finish the tops of the pumpkins for every other one. I think I made 4 of them. And then we are going to do all the accessories different. So I just cut very thin strips of fabric here and then I loop it and then I tie it off in the middle to make a fabric bow. I did some like a neutral fabric bow, I did some with color, and then I also did some that have like, you know, a button in the middle, a sunflower, and again, we're just hot gluing those to the front. So you'll see right here, and this is where you guys can make them really original and different, and you could add so many different accessories to them. I used one of these like paper sunflowers from Dollar Tree on this one. I grabbed a orange button for another one. So just have fun with it, and look at how this turned out. Aren't they so cute? I did sell one on my whatnot sale this week, but next week I'll have the other three on my whatnot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video so much. I'm sorry I was not on screen this week. I had Montgomery homesick, so life was a bit chaotic. I appreciate you guys supporting me by watching my videos, commenting, hopping over on whatnot. You guys are so amazing, and I hope that you feel inspired watching this video. You guys, make sure we're gonna start on our next DIY, the next two pieces. So we broke up some chairs and we do not throw anything away. So I have this piece and I have the top to the chair, which we are going to DIY as well. Okay, I'm sure you all have seen these chairs in your lifetime. Well, we are gonna put them to some use. Make sure you guys are on whatnot, because most of the stuff I've been making, I've been selling the same week on my whatnot Thursday show at 7 p.m. Central. So like all my DIYs, and then I had, or maybe I still do, who knows, spindles and like these pieces that I broke up and stuff like that, I am auctioning off on whatnot. So click the link down below. If you're a new user, you'll get $15 credit, and then if y'all are, you know, seasoned now, then make sure you bookmark my shows so that you're notified. But usually it's every Thursday. So our next two are gonna be these. All right, this one, you guys, I'm kind of cheating because it's so easy. So I was like, what am I gonna do with this? Because obviously it's like, you know, but then I saw the holes on the top and I was like, oh my gosh, this can be used to stick pencils in or paintbrushes in. Like, do I have it in there? Oh, maybe not so much. I guess they're a little, well, I can screw a hole. I could screw that a little deeper, which is maybe what I'm gonna have to do right now. But I realized that it sits up like perfectly. So let's go ahead and DIY this one. And I'm not painting this one, but I'm gonna paint the other one. Don't get mad. Start off with my drill. So I just got a size that fit exactly the holes that were already there. And I'm gonna drill down. It took me a couple of times because again, we're trying to get those flowers to sit in there and not like wobble around. So once I found how far down I wanted to go, I'm going to put a piece of tape right there on my drill. This is going to guide me as to where to stop as I'm drilling so that all of my holes are a consistent length. Once I'm done, you guys, I just accessorize it with fall florals. I'm not gluing this in. I want this to be something that you can change throughout the season. If you're somebody that loves the vintage decor, salvaged wood, all of that stuff, this project is going to make you so happy. I actually picked up all of these florals, including these eucalyptus leaves from Dollar Tree this week. They have really nice picks. These are especially my favorites, these like daisy looking ones. They come in an orange, this like burgundy red, and then almost like a peachy color. So I just continue to fill this up with flowers, and this is how she turned out. Is that not so much fun and a great way to reuse this piece of the chair? We can change it out as the seasons go. I did sell this on Whatnot this past Thursday, and I am so happy that this person gets to display it in their home. All right, now for the top of the chair, you guys. Here we go. This is my favorite. So I'm measuring. I don't know why I'm measuring. because it's pretty obvious where the middle of this backing is. But I put some fabric underneath it just so it wouldn't wibble wobble, and I am going to hammer in a sawtooth hanger so that somebody would be able to hang this. I'm going to take the oak and leaves mold. I'm going to dust it with cornstarch, and the reason we do this is because it will help your clay release from your mold. I go ahead and just flip it and tap the excess out, and then I'm going to grab my mold. I use a mixture of DOS clay and I use the iron orchid clay. It just depends on what my hand touches when I, reaches inside the box. I'm going to press that in. And what's nice about the iron orchid molds is that micro rim on the side. It really makes it easy to push that clay out and get a nice clean mold out of it. So now I'm going to flip it around, and I'm just going slowly because there's some little skinny branches right here, and that ends up working great. I filled up majority of this mold because I didn't know what I was going to use. And what I like to do now, I don't do clay molds a lot. I like to fill mine with resin. I just don't have the patience for clay. So needless to say, I don't layer a lot. If you want a pro that layers clay, check out Erin from Provincial Farmhouse. She is amazing with clay. All right, so I am basically laying everything out first, so I know where I want my molds to go. I'm going to follow that all the way down, and then once I'm happy with how it looks, then I start gluing. There's sometimes I get a little dangerous and I'll just like go with it, but this time I definitely wanted to lay these out because I hadn't worked with this mold before. Now I'm going to take the biggest piece and my starter piece, and I'm going to put my Titebond wood glue on. I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to brush that on the back of the mold while they're still wet. And this is going to just ensure that I've covered the entire piece with the glue. I'm going to lay that right down here, and now I can start piecing them together. And you can see I left everything where it initially was. That way I have my guide to follow. Now, when you're starting to layer the clay on top of each other, you just need light pressure, and it'll start forming to the top of the mold and then kind of go down onto your original surface. You don't want to use a lot of pressure and lose those details. So make sure that you're using very light pressure. On this right bottom side, you guys, it got a little dangerous, like I said, and I just kind of like freestyled this side, and it still came out pretty darn good. Once we were done with that, I'm going to take my little dipper brush and vintage linen, and I am going to paint the front and the back twice. I did 2 coats. Now, I should have known better because I did spray this piece with shellac before I did anything to help the tannins from coming through in the oils. But considering this was a kitchen item, which are usually the worst, the tannins started coming through like really bad. But I didn't really care because I knew I was going to add dark wax to this, which would cover those tannins up. But if you're not and you wanted this white, I highly recommend 2, maybe even 3 coats of a stain blocker like Salvation solution or shellac before painting it white. I did have to go in with a couple size brushes to get into all of those details. And then once that was dried, I'm going to use liquid patina to seal in my paint. Liquid patina is going to give you that matte finish. Big Top is going to give you a little bit of sheen. And then DIY clear wax will give you that matte finish, but it kind of darkens and deepens the color of your paint a little bit. So the reason I'm using liquid patina though is because it's going to give me a kind of like slick surface. And I want that because when I apply my dark wax, I want to be able to wipe off majority of it. Now we're going to go into, this is the typesetting. No, this is the letterpress stamp. I wanted to use the typesetting stamp, but it was far too big. So I'm going to lay out all my stamps. I'm going to make sure that it fits. And you guys, on our Whatnot chat, the ladies said that they would put their home address right here, which I thought would be such a cute idea. I'm going to pick my stamps up with my stamp mount. I'm going to use our black permanent ink. And then I am just going to put some pressure on that. And you guys, we're going to follow that all the way down so that it says welcome to our home. And once that is done, we are going to go in with that dark wax. So I always just use chippy brushes for my wax. And so I'm basically kind of like stippling this dark wax on. And y'all, if you have not used DIY's waxes, you are missing out. They're life changing, craft changing. I mean, they're so buttery smooth. You will not be disappointed. And you guys can find all these products on my website, which are linked in the description box. So I brush that on, and then I'm taking a paper towel and I'm going to buff it out. So you can see how it's wiping back, but it's settling into all of the details, especially these molds. Oh my gosh, you guys, wipe the drool from your face. It's okay. I'm wiping mine right now. It looks so gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to carry that on throughout I'm just going to call this a sign. And you can also use a microfiber cloth to wipe back your wax. That'll actually wipe it back even more. And then if you want to get crazy, especially on the molds, you can use a baby wipe, and that will really bring you back to like that white. Just don't press too hard because you don't want to take off your paint as well with or I guess you wouldn't if you use liquid patina because we sealed it. So I'm going to buff on over the stamp as well because that is permanent ink. It has dried and we are good to go. And you guys, check out how this turned out for being the top of a chair that most people probably would discard. Not me. No, no, no. Look at those molds. I did pretty well, if I do say so myself, for someone that doesn't layer molds that often. This will be on my Whatnot for auction this coming Thursday if anybody is interested in this, please. But you guys, look at the leaves in the actual chair top itself. Like, this just worked out so perfectly and I love it so much. These neutral yarn spools. This middle one's actually kind of like a peachy color. I was totally digging it. And I have, you guys, this intense fear of commitment when it comes to these items. So I don't want to make anything permanent and I don't want to glue anything directly to the spool itself. So I am going to stuff some packing paper into these spools. Then I'm going to grab these spindles that we took from a chair and I'm going to use my little table saw and I am going to cut those in half. So one of these spindles made 2 little peduncles. All right, so now, like I said, instead of gluing on the spool itself, I am attaching the spindles to the packing paper. So they're in there good. If you like put it upside down, it's not going anywhere. And everything that I attach is going to be glued either to the spindle or the packing paper. After the spindles are in, I'm going to take Spanish moss. I really wanted to keep in with the neutral theme. You could use whatever you want to cover this part. And all I'm doing with the Spanish moss is I'm tucking it into that lip of the spool. So I'm making sure majority of it's tucked inside so that it does not move and it does not fall out. As I go into our accessories, you guys know we have to accessorize these pumpkins. I couldn't just leave them like that. That's boring. So we're going to do 3 different ones. So for this peachy colored one, I'm going to grab these beautiful neutral leaves and I am going to put some hot glue on them, and then they are hot glued to the spindle. I'm going to take the beaded garland that you get from Dollar Tree. I think the white one usually comes out for Valentine's Day. And I just twirled that up and then hot glued it again to the spindle. For our second one, our little baby one, I'm going to take these paper sunflowers. These are also from Dollar Tree and they come out during the fall. And they have these thin little wires on them. So I am just kind of playing around, stuffing them inside. And then I decide that I'm going to cluster them over to the left. And I do put some of that orange and red beaded garland in this one as well, which I don't show. And our third one, I decided to go extra, like guacamole girl. Okay, so we are putting, I think these are foxtails from Hobby Lobby. I kind of was envisioning almost like a boho kind of look with this one. It turned out so cute and so extra, like me. So I'm putting these in. Then I'm going to put in these other little sprigs. These are from Dollar Tree picks. They actually come with like some fall florals on them. And after sticking those in there, I'm going to grab one of these mini pumpkins. You can see it over to the left, comes on that pick. And I'm going to glue that right to the front. This is like screams fall. It's crazy. And look at how cute these turned out. Leave me a comment if you are going to be on the hunt for these now, or if you have some in your stash and now you're going to pull them out and put them together. These are so cute. They're going to sell so well on my Whatnot show, and even just to display in my booth would be great. So I hope this inspires you to get those out and start getting creative. I'm busy right now. Don't put your ears back like you don't know what's going on. What do you need? Do you need the boy to feed you? I need to wipe your eyes. You're so stinky and you just got a bath. What do you get into? I don't need cuddles. Like if I give you cuddles, oh, okay. All right, bye. Now, this next one I grabbed this Dollar Tree witch hat and it was rough. The glitter was falling out. You couldn't even see the little buckle anymore. So I decided I wanted to cover it. So getting my pillowcase, I'm going to trace 2 circles, or 1 if you fold your pillowcase in half. I'm going to cut inside of my permanent marker. And then with the first circle, we're going to go ahead and cover the bottom of this. This hat was super nice and sturdy. Like it wasn't flimsy. So I thought it was a great hat. It was a mess. So I knew that I could cover it and make it really pretty. So after we do that one, we're going to get the second circle. Now the second circle, you're going to fold in half and you're going to make some slits in it. Then fold it the other way, another slit. Obviously, I made that one way too small, so we're going to make some bigger slits on this. And you want it to fit over. Now, it does not have to be perfect. You'll see that like it is kind of, see how it's like setting on the sides? That's okay because we're going to cover that. So again, I am making sure that I get the rim of the hat really good. I don't want any of that fabric coming up, and I'm going to glue that to the top base of the hat. I'm going to grab another piece of random pillowcase. I did not measure this, you guys. I was totally winging it and just trying to figure it out as I go because I've never done one of these before. So I am just wrapping it around and just kind of like cutting the excess off where I think it needs to be cut off. So I'm sorry if it's hard for me to explain this. So I'm going to glue and start off at one point, and then I'm going to start wrapping it around to see if I need to cut anything off. And I found that it was fairly simple. You guys, these little pink scissors, I got these at Dollar Tree and they cut fabric like nobody's business. They are amazing. So now that I got that to size, I'm going to go ahead and glue that, making sure that I glue the base and the hat itself. We're going to bring that on around, tuck that into that other piece of fabric, and now I'm going to pull tightly on this other flap, and then I'm going to glue it down, and I will cut the excess of this part off of our hat. So you can see right there. Perfect. All right, now the hats, or sorry, the rim. You could still see the black, which I was not digging. It looked like a mess and not very finished. So I'm going to take twine, and this, you could get creative and you could use like, beads or anything you want. And I am going to just go around the hat and cover up that black so that it looks more finished when the hat is done. I'm then going to take our pillowcase. I'm going to cut 2 strips of fabric off of it. I just had to play around with the size of the rim to see what size the strips of the fabric needed. And I am going to fold them over. So you can see right here, I'm going to start it off, and then I'm kind of like folding it backwards onto itself to create a fold or like a ruffle or a pleat, and then gluing that down. So you can see how I'm folding it back. I don't like hot glue the I don't know, the base piece down, because when I press my finger on top of it, the glue kind of like goes through the fabric and it adhered to our base. So I just continue to do that all around. Now, when my piece of pillowcase runs out, all I do is get a second piece and I just start that pleat once again, excuse me. Um, and then I go all the way around. And then, like I said, you accessorize. So grabbing that cheesecloth, once again, this, you guys, this turned out to be like the prettiest neutral witch hat I've ever seen. We're going to tie that around. I'm going to go ahead and get a little piece of hot glue just to tack that back so it doesn't ride up the witch's hat. I'm going to pull that cheesecloth apart, and then we are going to make another little tag just like we did in the previous DIY. And this one's just going to put, I can't talk, you guys, 31 on it. And keeping with the theme of the little buttons, I'm going to go ahead and adhere a button to the base of that. And y'all, I just went ahead and stuck this on a spool with my little ghost that I made, and I love how this turned out. I feel like if this was in a Kirkland's or something, somebody would pay good amount of money for it. I think it came out so high-end looking. I wish I had a bigger witch's hat to do this on, because I mean, how stunning would that be? Now these are so easy. If you are somebody that resells or does craft fair, stay tuned. Watch this. So these are just 12-inch rounds. They're the thin ones you could get at Hobby Lobby, Amazon. I even think Dollar Tree sells these now. I'm using chiffon by Rust-Oleum. I am trying to get rid of it. And you guys, this paint was thick. Okay, it's been sitting down there for a long time. I'm gonna roll this on. I think I did like 6 at a time. After they were done, I'm going to grab this stencil. I created this on my Cricut, and you can too. I just use 7mm Mylar stencil film. And then I think you just need, it's either called a deep blade or a knife blade on your Cricut. And if you guys want a video on how to do that, let me know, and maybe I can make a quick one. And this is a great way of making multiple things at once. This helps because, one, I'm not using stencil vinyl, so I'm not having to weed something out multiple times. And then I'm not using regular vinyl for his face because I can't guarantee the longevity of vinyl. So I rather like hand paint my images on. Look at that. And look, I just move on to the next one. Set that one over. I'm going to lay that stencil right back down on here, and I don't need to wipe the back or anything. I'm using that sponge roller. I'm being really soft. I'm not pushing down on it to get paint underneath it. And this is a great way of making multiples, you guys. If you are a YouTube membership person, jeez, I can't talk, then this SVG will be uploaded to the membership group for free. Now to finish this off, I am going to take Dark and Decrepit liquid patina and a paper towel, and I'm just gonna buff that around the round. I think this added a little bit more depth, almost like a shadowy look to it. You guys tell me what you think. Would you have left it alone? I ended up doing it to all of it, so I can't go back now. But I liked it with the dark and decrepit around the edges of it. And this is how it turned out. I was actually really happy. I think if you go on Pinterest, you've probably seen these everywhere. And I've never made one for as many wood rounds as I have done. I have never made the Man of the Moon. So I think this is cute. I'm definitely keeping one for myself, for my mantle, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. Now, I was debating not even putting this in here, but I was like, somebody might get a kick out of it and think it's fun. So I'm going to take one of these little skinny wood spindles, and I'm going to take twine, and I'm going to wrap this around my hand over and over and over and over and over and over again. You want it super thick. So I had seen something on Pinterest, and it was like these little witches brooms, and it almost looked like twine, but like tassel form. And I found it on Amazon. There was one left. I ordered it. It never came. Of course. And then when I went to go back to the link, they didn't have any more. So I was like, now I want to make this. So how? So this is how I decided to do it. So after you create your, I'll say quote unquote tassel, you're going to split it in the middle and you're going to hold that on there. Well, no, we're going to put some hot glue in there first. So put some hot glue in the middle. Obviously, all of that twine isn't in that glue. I was just needing it to attach to the spindle so that I could hold it in place. Then I'm going to take more twine and we are going to hot glue a piece of it to the top over here. So it seriously looks like we're making a tassel here, except we're attaching it to the spindle. We're going to wrap this around and around. This is going to catch all of that twine on the sides, which did not catch into the glue. And then we are going to tack that off in the back with some more hot glue. And I want you guys to watch me do this over and over again. So these are fun. You guys could use wooden dowels as well if you don't have spindles. And then I'm going to cut the twine at the bottom. I'm going to fluff it on out. And then we created a little witch's broom. So tell me what you guys think. I think these would be great for bowl fillers at like a booth or a craft fair. Also just for your decor. You'll see how I use it right here. And even like this, I think it's cute. And like I said, if you don't have a spindle, you could use a wood dowel. Ooh, you could even use like an old like silverware, like a spoon or a fork or a butter knife. Oh, that would be cute too, you guys. You guys, I hope these, for this one, I don't know the size of the wood, you guys. It was a random scrap piece. And I'm going to take the Hello Pumpkin mold, which I used resin. This is the biggest pumpkin. And I used my Titebond wood glue, adhered that to the piece of wood. And then I'm going to take a sawtooth hanger, put that in the back. With this piece of wood, it's not thick enough to be a shelf sitter. So I needed to make it a sign that you can hang up, or somebody could kind of prop it up if they wanted to. Now I'm going to take vintage linen. This is my favorite white out of all the DIY colors. I think it's just the happy medium between like the pure white and then like the like grayish white. I don't know. I'm going to do a messy coat on this. Front and back I painted. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that vintage linen and I'm going to mix it with some salt wash. And I'm going to put that salt wash kind of like on the corners of this sign, and then I will put it sporadically like throughout the sign, almost just so it kind of looks like an aged or weathered, you know, piece. That's what I was going for. I'm going to take my texture stamp. You guys, this should be restocked on Monday. And then I was going to wax this and everything, but I'll show you what I did later. I'm going to take the apothecary stamp. I do have this back in stock, you guys. And I spelt out harvest and then used that pretty little detail that also comes in this stamp set. And I stamped it with, I think, stone gray I used. Look at, isn't that so cute? Well, my friends, I decided not to film this, but some of you may think I did too much. But this was my vision this entire time, was to have this like neutral sign and then add this like little pop of like tan to it. Because I feel like every time that I see these like high-end fall decor, Halloween decor and stuff like that, they're like white, tans, creams, you know, that kind of color palette. So that's what I was going for. And I thought this just gave it a little bit more texture and warmth, so it doesn't seem so like stone cold. You know, stone cold 2000. Okay, so I hope you guys are vibing it like I'm vibing it. All right. Hey, you guys, I had to laugh. Do any of you, well, I'm sure some of you have watched Edward Scissorhands, and I'm over here and I'm hearing the scissors and I'm like, you know, when he's like cutting the hair and then he starts going, you know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Just me. After those shenanigans, this is how our sign turned out. Now, y'all, the Hello mold is no longer in stock. The holiday stuff gets retired, but I do sell the resin castings of the pumpkins. So those are on my website linked in the description box, but I love this neutral piece. I think it's now our next one is a ghost. All I did was search ghost fabric cutout on Google. This little guy came up and he was perfect. It prints to this size. I didn't have to resize this at all. I'm going to go ahead and fold my pillowcase in half. And then again, you guys, just like I taught you in the first one, we're going to trace it with our permanent marker. Make sure you keep some space because we're going to stuff it and we have to glue it. So I'm going to cut on the inside of the permanent marker because we do not want that black showing. And then once we are done with that, we are going to go in with our hot glue, or if you like to sew, then you can sew your edges. Well, I lied. I'm going to fray it first. Then we are going to glue it and make sure that you keep that hole for your stuffing. And this is a little different than most because we are gluing it. We do not have to do this reverse side, you know, like the fabric inside out. If you were sewing, you would need to do inside out. No, you really don't, because if you like the little like rustic edges. Okay, anyways, you guys, now I'm taking some orange fabric. This is from Dollar Tree. I drew half of a heart and I'm going to glue these cute little orange hearts to my ghosts. I just drew on the eyes with some permanent marker. You could also use buttons. I tried the buttons, but I don't know, I was not digging it whatsoever. But you know I included buttons somewhere on here. So after gluing the hearts onto our ghosts, then I take a button and just add it somewhere on the heart just to keep the theme going here. See, right there. And these turned out so cute. So easy to make. And y'all, I know you guys have some kind of pillowcases you do not use anymore. These could be cute as well to use, you know, fabric that you have from your mom or like your children or something, and kind of absolutely gorgeous. Now, keeping in and finishing up this video, I have these little mini cutting boards. I'm going to save those for pumpkins. And I love the color of them. We are not painting them. I think they look great and are a great fall color. I'm going to take this pillowcase. You guys, if you've watched my channel, I always take my pillowcases and then cut the backs off because they have no image and use it for DIYs like this. So I am going to hot glue the fabric. And I should have just used a longer piece of fabric and wrapped it all the way around because I end up putting like a slab in the middle. But make sure you are pulling very tight on your fabric when you are hot gluing these to your cutting boards or your wood sign. So you can see I ended up getting a strip because I was like, that looks so unfinished on the back. So that's what I did. Then just like you wrap a present, you're going to tuck in those ends and then bring it on up. Again, very tight, because once you put in like your florals and you're messing around with that fabric, it's going to give a little and you don't want it to start sagging in the front. To cover up, oh no, first I'm going to get the pumpkin stamp. This is from an old IOD collection, and I'm going to stamp that right here on the corner just to add a little zhuzh. I'm going to grab some Dollar Tree ribbon and we're going to put that around the top so it looks more finished. I didn't want to like roll down the fabric to make it look like folded down, you know. So I decided to go with this ribbon. I'm going to hot glue the strip to the back, and then I do hot glue it to the front of the fabric as well. I just don't show it. And then we are going to grab some neutral florals from Dollar Tree. So I grabbed some of these leaves here. I was just at Dollar Tree and did not grab more of these, and I think this was like my last pick. I'm going to put those in there, and then I'm going to also grab these Dollar Tree florals. These are like the perfect color. They're kind of like brownish, tannish, cream, orange. They fit. And for our second one, tell me what this is called, you guys. I know it goes on the arm of a chair, but I don't think it's considered a doily by any means. So let me know in the comment what this is actually called. So this is a great way, I think, of using doilies or linens that are stained and cannot be used again or resold. So I am hot gluing this to the back. And then I'm going to cut that excess off. And just like we did with the other ones, we're going to tuck the bottoms on in. I really liked this one because it was thicker, um, a thicker feel. So I knew my flowers would not go through it. And it was a great way, like I said, of utilizing some pieces that I couldn't resell because they were so stained up. So I'm just going to add some more florals in this. And this is how it turned out. So you can do these with mini cutting boards, bigger cutting boards, even just pieces of wood. And I love how they turned out. I thought it was a great way of repurposing some items. And I hope you guys enjoyed this neutral fall video. Stay tuned because I'm going to explain to you guys the Whatnot app. Oh, so cute. Hey you guys, I promise we'll get back to the DIYs in just a second. Right now, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Whatnot. I've been on the platform for about like 2 weeks now, and it is so much fun. Those of you who have already joined, please comment down below and tell everybody how much fun it is. If you are not familiar with Whatnot, it is a buying platform, but it is done in an auction format. So you would go to my channel, and instead of, buying like an item for a set price, let's say this bunny, instead of buying it for a set price, I'm going to start it at $1, and then people can bid it, and the highest bidder wins it. And y'all, this place has everything from vintage finds like I'm selling to my husband loves watching these shirt auctions, button auctions. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So if you want to join, go ahead and click the link down in the description box. It is going to have you create an account. It's going to give you $15 credit if you are a new customer, which you could use anywhere on Whatnot. And then you're going to go back into the app. You're going to search Unicorn Dust Designs, and you're going to bookmark my show for next Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. And y'all, there is going to be another big giveaway. It is going to be up to $100 in value. So make sure you're watching. It is a buyer's giveaway. So everybody that purchases next Thursday is going to get a chance to win it. So you guys click the link down in the description box. Y'all know how excited I've been about Whatnot. So I hope to see a lot of you guys there, and make sure you're using your $15 credit. Come on, use that stuff. There are so many of you that still have not used your credit. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and get back into these neutral Halloween fall DIYs. Okay, so I've had people say that they're having a hard time navigating Whatnot. So I just wanted to pop in at the end and kind of walk you guys through, and I'm hoping that this light is not going to shine on my phone. Okay, so once you download the app, so you'll click the link in the description box. You're going to download the app. It's going to ask you for your preferences. So like, do you like vintage finds? Do you like clothing? And then based off of those picks, your home page, so the main page I'm on right now, right when you click into it, that is what Whatnot is going to share with you, are the things based off of your preferences. Now, you can go up here, up at the very top. Up at the very top. And these were the main things that I picked. So antiques and vintage decor. And you'll see all the videos that are currently live or that are coming up in this section. I have vintage decor, home decor, estate sales, antiques, garage sales, home and garden, books. Does that not just me in a nutshell, right? So let's go to antiques and vintage decor maybe. And you'll see like these are all the people that are live. See how it says live? The number next to it is just telling you how many people are in their live. And then let me see if you scroll down. So this is Alicia. She's an amazing seller, Lancaster Exchange. And you'll see that she is going to go on today at 10 a.m. And I'm going to go ahead and click on hers just to show you. Okay, so this is what you would see if you clicked on her show and she was not live. And you can save and notify me. they're going to notify you via email. It's not to your phone, which kind of sucks, but if you save it, it'll email you and notify you when this show starts. You can also go, so like for mine, I don't have anything in there right now for Thursday's sale, but you can go right here to the bottom right. That is going to be your shop. And then you can go to auction right here. And not all sellers upload their stuff in advance, but some do. I'm one of those people. Alicia is too. And you can see what she's going to be selling on her shop and how much the starting bid is. So you can see right here, which is awesome. She is going to be selling this glass cloche with wood base. Starting bid is only $1, you guys. That'll go live, and I'll show you what a live sale looks like as well. You could also pre-bid on it. So if you are, you know, you're going to be at work, but you're like, I love that item, I got to have it. You can place a pre-bid on there. And if you're not able to make it to the show, it will use that pre-bid. Somebody could go over your bid, but if they don't go over your bid, then you'll win it. You can also just hit the bell, and that'll notify you when that person is pinning that item and when, like, showing you it's about to go live, like they're gonna start running it. So that's how this section works. And then there's a buy now section you can go into, and this is a section where you can buy at any time. So like their show does not have to be live. My show does not have to be live for you to buy any of the buy now section. Okay. You're going to have your wallet. Let me see if you could see that from mine. Sorry, you guys. So like, for example, this is my upcoming show on the 15th. And right now I don't have anything except one thing in my auction because I have not uploaded all of my items. I have tons of stuff in my buy now. So tons of options there, earrings, mugs, all of that stuff. So yeah, I have to go back because I don't have the options on mine. So hold on real quick. We'll go back to Alicia's just so I can show you. You can see right here, the wallet. So this is where you're going to set up your payment. Let me see what it shows. I don't want it. Oh yeah, it shows my address. So no, I won't show that. So you would hit wallet, and before you bid on anything, you have to have your wallet set up. You can connect it to your PayPal, or you could connect it to like a debit credit card. But you have to have this set up to be able to bid on anything. There are also tips. So you can tip the host who is doing the show. And you can only tip with a credit card though. If you're using PayPal, it won't allow you to tip anything. So those are the main features over here. And then let's see, let me go to a live one for you guys. Sorry. Let's go up and let's go to, I'm like, is there anybody I know so I don't blast somebody on here? I don't think I know anybody on here, unfortunately. Oh, Repurposed My Way. She's actually on YouTube, you guys, so go follow her. So I'm going to go to her. Okay, so this is Repurposed My Way. I'm sure she's not going to mind me showing her considering she's on YouTube. Okay, so what she's doing is she's talking about this easel right now, I think. Hold on. Yes, so it says, oh no, a cutting board. So it says right here, oak and maple cutting board. She's preloaded her stuff to her site. And you will see after she's done talking about it, down here, you could see awaiting next item. Now people can start bidding on this. So you would just swipe right if you want to place a bid on it. And there is a timer. Usually it's around 20 to 30 seconds and it counts down. And if you swipe right, it'll add like a few seconds to the clock. And then you can see all of the people in the chat. You can chat. It's so much fun. Like everybody in the chat rooms are so much fun. You can tip her. And then again, that's your wallet. And you can see she's moving on to the next item because it's a False Graph herb planter with tray. And then it'll tell you the shipping. So down here, we don't control the shipping. That is Whatnot. So Whatnot charges based off of like box size. So you'll see right here, it says shipping is $8.77 plus tax. Now, Whatnot will charge that $8.77 and you get up to 5 pounds to fill that $8.77 box. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? So if I bought this right now, if I swiped right, then the next thing that comes up, so like bid, $3. That's a really good price for that planter. That's really cute. So if I swiped right, or when it came up, it would now say free shipping in purple for me, up to 5 pounds. Once I reached my 5 pound max on her show, then it would start accumulating shipping again. So take advantage. Once you reach that $8.77, take advantage and fill that box, okay? So again, and it is all determined by Whatnot, the weight of the item, but I think the shipping's pretty dang good on here. What is that, a porcupine? It is a porcupine cutting board. How funny. Oh my goodness. So, and you can jump in and out of shows. Like if you're shopping her show and then you see that, oh, she's only starting that at $1, and that is big. That is so cute. See, and this is great too. Like if you aren't somebody that like can go to thrift stores, or your thrift stores aren't good, you guys don't have garage sales in your town, you can buy stuff like that on here to upcycle and DIY. So, I think I explained everything, I think, pretty well. Let me see. I was trying to find, I wish I could find somebody that's like currently bidding on something just so I can show you guys. Oh, those are pretty. Okay, hold on. They're rescanning. And you'll find there are either going to be people that are scanning through their shelves. So like this one right here, Sue Fields, she scans through her inventory. And then you could say like, oh, stop. What is that? What is the starting bid? And then you'll have people like Repurposed My Way that I put you on. Where'd you go? Where are you? And now I lost her. Oh, she's on home decor. What was I just saying? Oh, and then there's people like Repurposed My Way and myself, where I'm like actually in the shot and I will show each and every item like that. So it's going to be preference for you all, but I hope that I was able to explain that. Make sure if you guys are using my link that you guys take advantage of that $15 credit. So if you're brand new, it'll be loaded right here. You'll see it in your wallet. It'll be like a little purple bubble and it'll say $15, and it'll go towards your sales up until you reach that $15, but it will not go towards shipping. So make sure you use that. And then my friends, come join me on Thursday and bookmark all of my upcoming shows so that you know. This one is going to be at a different time than I usually do. I've been doing Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. That way, like, my babies are a little bit more chill, but it doesn't seem to be the case lately. So bookmark, you just have to hit those little tags. See the tags? Just hit them and they'll be black. And then that's how you know you've bookmarked the shows. And then you will get notified once those sales start. So I hope that helps you guys. Make sure to join me. Look at my little family. And there will also be a huge giveaway for me working with Whatnot. So I'm really excited and I hope to see you guys there, and I hope this helped you guys.